Welcome to Office Hours. Today is November 18th. It is almost a week before Thanksgiving and the apocalypse did not happen yet, so we're going to talk about SEO. So the news for today, thank you, Tricia, is GT Metrics making a significant change. So I know of GT Metrics as a great tool to diagnose page speed problems. Is that what you primarily use it for, Tricia?
Yeah, I primarily use it first to see, what's the speed look like. I use, of course, Lighthouse first and then GT metrics as well, to see, what's the speed, and then to look at all the different, there are problems, what the problems are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the change that they made?
So I went, I have a website that I'm about to take live, and what I like to do is the previous site that I didn't build, to get a snapshot of it so I can show the client, that you went from this, which was a D, to mine, which is an A. And I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And so what I found was I went and I'm like, something's different. What's going on? And it says, well, you have to log in to even search for a site and have it run the speed. And they said you set up your free account. So I set up my free account, and it ran the test, and it gives you the summary, and you can download that to a PDF. But then it says if you want the full diagnostic report, which is what you typically go through to make updates and changes, it said you have to have a paid account. And the accounts they have. One is, I was looking at them, they have like monthly, and then of course if you do yearly, you get a little bit of a discount. I think it's a 15%. But it starts at like $12 a month, $24 and $47 a month. So probably not right now, unless something comes up, that I need it. I'll probably use the free for now, and then upgrade to the $12 a month if I find I need it for something.
So in their price levels, what are you getting for $47 that you're not getting?
Yeah. Let's see, the solo, which is $12 a month, you get 3 monitored slots, and I'm not too, like it says you can monitor pages. 25 on-demand tests a day. So that's for $12. That's the low plan.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So then it goes up from 25 on-demand tests a day. Wait a minute. Daily. Yes, daily. The next for $24 a month is 35 a day. And then for $47 a month, it's 50 daily on-demand tests.
Okay.
So for me, 25 is certainly sufficient.
Yeah. I would think that unless you are doing full-time dev work where you are fully focused on this, you could probably get away with the smallest one.
I think so. I definitely. Yeah. And they get GT metrics is one, I remember when I first looked at it, I was like, wow, they give you so much information. So, the fact that they went to a paid account, it's not too surprising because it's a lot of work in there, and that was the other thing. Is the new thing says, I'm not sure the terminology, but it says that it combines with Lighthouse. And I don't remember what the actual terminology was on that. But as far as like Google's, it says, so if you go to GT Metrics on Twitter, it says the new GT Metrics is here. We're excited to release the next generation of GT Metrics performance testing powered by Lighthouse, and that's Google Lighthouse. So, that was not a part of it before, I don't believe.
Well, I wonder if it's real-time data from Google Lighthouse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what I found interesting with GT Metrics is it's really similar to Chrome developer tools, the Cascade report you can do in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just cloud-based rather than have to use it off a Chrome browser. I've abandoned Chrome as a browser.
Really?
I'm just so frustrated with it. I moved back to Firefox.
Okay.
Because Google's got enough information on me and they don't need me to do that. But I have to go to Chrome DevTools now and then, especially as I'm trying to diagnose page speed problems, because they'll put different like they'll put, the content shifts and where they have in Chrome DevTools. So you
Mhm.
can find out exactly where the problem is. I would hope that if the GT Metrics is starting to incorporate Lighthouse, that they're starting to get to a cloud-based system that kind of does what DevTools does.
Yeah, trying to see, just says GT Metrics is now powered by Google Lighthouse.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, that makes me want to almost change the page speed process in Curious Ants to incorporate GT Metrics. And I'm going to have to play around with this and see
Mhm. Yeah.
what it shows and what it doesn't show.
Yeah.
But I think it's impressive that you're able to take a one-page D website to an A.
Yeah, I was
And add
happy.
WordPress on top of it. Like,
I know a big part of it was the fact that at the top of their page, they have a video. And it's a video that like, there's no real value to it.
right.
So I immediately changed that to an image.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. Like the fastest item loading on a page is the item you don't load. So
yeah,
you have to-
and exactly. And the first time I ran it through GT Metrics, the what it currently is with the video, it says we can't reach the page, it's moving too slow, and it gives up at a certain point.
right.
And I was like, well, I want a report to show them, and this is just like, we just can't. And then I went through again, and it gave it to me. So, but so even though it was one page going to like 6 or 7 page, I did have a little trick on in my toolbox that I was able to just say, no more video, don't need it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that video, that was all you would see above the fold, and it had nothing really substantial there. Everything else was below the video, and so I'm like, and this need to get rid of this.
Well, it almost sounds like the video was hosted locally and embedded in rather than on a cloud like a YouTube video.
Yes,
It's in an iframe, so it can be deferred and stuff like that. But
correct. Yeah, it was hosted there on the site.
Yeah.
And it was just like a little paper airplane going through the clouds, and that was it.
Oh.
So like you'd see a paper airplane and just go like that. So there's no text, no nothing.
Wow. Yeah, what I like about here in this story is this is something that you don't really have to recode a site. You could just remove an element and add a.
Yeah. And the one thing is I was, this was one that I was able to, I started with quite a few months back. They wanted me to work with their Google My Business and SEO. Right. And then I was like, so Google My Business is fine. I was like, but SEO is like one page site.
Right.
Like, I can't in good conscience, like, do anything else with just a one page site. Right. I said, I can work with your Google My Business, but to have, anything else, I recommend you expand to a site as and they had a bit of content. I had to beef up a little bit because they just kind of went down and had sections, and they had jump links in it. So I was able to explain to them and convince them that they needed to change to a full WordPress. And it was a one-page WordPress, but it was
that's like overkill. Yeah.
And also I changed it from, I don't know if I should say, their hosting company is a really slow one.
Oh.
Currently, and I'm changing because currently the site that I am building, it's on a, what do you call it? It's a
shared.
Oh gosh, it's just kind of it's there and live, but it's not on the domain yet. So but it's on what the host is going to be that I'm going to use. I'm changing their host. Okay. So I can see how fast the new site is, and it's like boom, boom. And one of the so I don't design sites. I've got somebody, developer I'm working with.
Right.
And the new site that I had them put it on is on Cloudways Vulture HF high frequency. Are you familiar with that?
No.
She was like, oh my God, this is like lightning fast. And I was like, oh, good, I made the right choice.
Good.
But she was, because she's on the one that she recommends a lot is SiteGround. And they've been having, people are some people still love them, some people are not happy with them. And she said, if I ever get to the point where I want to change, she said, I'll change to this Cloudways. So, but it's the Volter HF, high frequency. And it, like, to get the high frequency, it's like $2 more a month, and it's just lightning fast. So yeah.
Well,
So that's all those, and it's yeah, working out good.
Well, I love that you've helped the client not just develop a faster website, but now you can really start to do some SEO, because you don't just have you can do SEO on a one-page website, just your hands are tied behind your back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I had told them originally. I was like, I can do some things, but it's just not gonna have the same effect. And if that's what you want, then you really should have a full site. So
Were you able to convince them to put a blog on their site too?
No. I tried to get them to get pictures of people, their employees.
Yeah.
To put a couple on there. They said, we're having a photographer come in. And I was like, wonderful. They sent me the pictures. They're all of equipment.
Oh. Huh. Do they sell equipment or services?
It's a print company.
Oh.
So they print things for people. So they don't sell the equipment or.
Yeah. Yeah. So only they know what the machines do. That's a classic marketing problem, right? They very well could be expert printers, but they're speaking to themselves rather than to their customers.
Yeah, I did have that, like, I had kind of put in some pictures where I thought they went. And then I would get an email back and say, well, change this out with, and they would have some term. And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And it was an industry term. I'm like, I had to politely say, what are you talking about?
Right.
And so yeah, but yeah, they're like, oh, I've attached it. And I'm like, oh, that's what that is, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I sometimes people think SEO is magical, but it's not. It's just speaking your customer's language in a way they understand.
Yeah.
They don't know about such and such printing process or the AX34 Mark 7 printing machine. They just want it to know that you can do full color banners or whatever. Yeah. And it's even, the experts that they are, they know the right machine to use, and they might be very proud to have this machine that no one else in your area has, but you're selling the process, not the outcome.
Yes.
That machine probably produces a higher quality thing than, but let's not, half the SEO battle is, even if we don't think about keywords, is just talking to the customer and trying to change the focus that way. But sometimes people just don't get it.
I also, I was asking for additional information, and thankfully they forwarded me one of their MailChimp campaigns. Oh. And so then I was able to look at all the previous emails that had gone out. So I'm there looking through all the emails for some content, and I found some stuff about some COVID printing material, things that they were doing. So that was nowhere on the site. And then I'm like, I'm putting this on there. This is relevant. Good. So I put a whole section of that on it. So that was stuff that, they had. I just needed to figure out where it was and how to get it. So
yeah, no, that was a great creative use of other resources.
Yeah.
We can't optimize your email list, but if you give me access to your email list, I can find good ideas that you might have been overlooking.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. It was good. Good
strategy. I love it. So how else is everything going for your clients?
Good. I'm trying to think last week was a bit of a busy week. I had all week. I have a business coach and I had a mastermind. So kind of all week I was doing that. So then I'm, kind of resting my head a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's going okay. Trying to think anything new that's come up.
Is your business mostly project-based or?
No, a lot of what mine are monthly management of Google My Business. And then one thing I added I don't know, a while back is also review management for Google My Business. So like to actually, when you have a new client, it goes into a list thing and they just get automatic emails out requesting reviews and things like that.
So are you using a system for that or are you doing that manually?
Oh, no, not manual. No, I've got a whole process set up for it.
Because what I've done in the past, and I'd love to hear your critique of this, is for a client, I will go and determine which platforms, I should say, they should get reviews in. Always Google My Business,
Yes.
frequently Facebook, maybe Yelp, even though I really think Yelp is very corrupt and terrible.
The second person that has said that today.
They are terrible.
I am with you. I understand.
Yelp, I'm on record going, Yelp is a bunch of crooks.
Yes, I'm with you 100%.
And, I sign my clients up for it, but I tell them, you're going to be aggressively called and you should ignore them and tell whoever's answering the phone to blow that salesperson off.
Yeah, just get your listing and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so what I'll do is I will go and create a PDF with client URL / Google, client URL / Facebook, client URL / Yelp, which redirects to the page on those platforms where you could submit a review.
Yeah. So
send out the PDF to everybody and say, hey, can you give me a review? And it's real easy for people to give you a review.
Yeah. So one thing on that is that where was I? I was headed somewhere with this and my mind just went blank. Yes, I do like to give a couple of options. One thing is make sure you don't include Yelp in that because Yelp is very, very strange, as you know. What part of their guidelines is you're not allowed to ask for reviews.
Oh, interesting.
And you can get in trouble. And what they want you to do, if you're trying to get Yelp reviews, what you're supposed to do instead is say, do me a favor and check in with my business on Yelp. Once they do that, Yelp sends them, you just checked in, would you review this business? Just terminology, it's kind of crazy. But Yelp, and because I didn't realize that until a couple of years ago, but they do not want you to actually give the link to leave a review.
Well, I've noticed that they will, even though they will get a review, they won't always publish it.
Yes, yeah, they publish the good ones from people who pay them a lot of money in advertising.
Right, which is one of the blackmail things they do. Yes,
that's one of yeah. But, and I've also had clients that said that they turned their ad off and then turned it back on and they didn't tell them.
Oh,
that's another one that I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, if you ever sign up for a Yelp ad, you've got to check that thing every day until the credit card expires.
Right.
Because they don't tell you if they turn it on. I've heard that on more than one occasion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
but isn't that a legal issue?
I would say you probably could fight it. I think though I don't know anyone who's actually done that and fought it. So yeah, I typically I'm like David. I tend to say your account's set up and don't get involved in any ads because I just don't think they're worth it on Yelp.
Maybe if you're a restaurant, but even then I'd still be afraid of being blackmailed.
I would too, because I've heard of businesses say, well, I have all these good reviews and the only review they show is negative and they want you to continue to pay. And it's like, that's just not how and for restaurant, I would say Google and then like TripAdvisor, things like that. If you're in a high area that gets a lot of travel and stuff like that. But I like to give 2, sometimes 3 places to leave a review. Another really good site is Nextdoor. Their engagement since March has gone up over 80%.
That's interesting.
I had a client that he's a client of mine and I'm a client of his. He does catering and he was having some meals and everything. So I ordered some and I took pictures and I posted it all on nextdoor.com and I did a full description. He, like, within 2 hours had an order based on that one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, one review. And I think they're called recommendations on Nextdoor. I don't remember, but a lot of people are on Nextdoor all day long.
Well, that brings up an interesting point. And Anita, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too. Like, where are your go-to places to post content? Like, for each client, I have kind of a short list of networks. If it's a B2B client, I post it on LinkedIn. If it has a local presence, I'd make a post on Google My Business. If they have a Facebook campaign where it's worth anything, I'll go ahead and post it on Facebook. But where do you two post stuff from your clients that you find most effective?
Well, that varies. And honestly, David, I don't like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why I don't like LinkedIn. If my client wants something posted to LinkedIn, they have to do that themselves, unless they're going to give me access to their LinkedIn.
Right.
So I don't do LinkedIn. It may be a fabulous place for B2B business, but for the business that does not want to manage their social media, it is not it's just completely off the table. Depending on what you're doing, TikTok is actually becoming quite the thing. I don't do TikTok. I'm too old to do TikTok. I'm not Gary Vee, and I'm not on TikTok. I think I'm a little older than Gary Vee too, but there are a lot of people that swear by TikTok, and they are doing quite well by having a presence on TikTok.
Right.
But what I know of TikTok is from my 30-year-old daughter showing me.
Yeah.
But Facebook, for all that people want to say about it, is still a very effective place to be, because, as you know, the search engines are picking that up.
Right. I mean, I'm seeing Google.
You can depend on their search engine optimization to get you some traffic. Twitter. I think a lot of people underestimate Twitter. If you really invest the time in Twitter, there's some very good connections to be made there. And, if you're a blogger or do like interior design or anything very visual, Pinterest, of course, you need to be over there. And then there's Instagram. There's so many of them. People even talk about Reddit, but I think of Reddit more as a forum than social media. But I would say it really just depends on what your particular business is looking for. Instagram may not be the place for somebody that's looking to drive memberships or signups for something, because that tends to be more of a place where people just engage right there. I don't know how many people actually click the link, whatever in the bio, and go off and look at things. Hold on a second. She's trying to take my cable cord down.
While she does that, I want to kind of ask a question related to what she was just saying about that she wasn't sure, if people were clicking the link in the bio. I haven't done this, but I'm looking at adding some UTM codes to some things like that. And I don't know if Instagram could you do it with that? I would think. Would it look weird?
So I've seen it done on Instagram where you can set up, it's almost a kind of a weird splash page that you link to from your page.
Like Linktree?
Yeah, something like that. And, I've done that on the Reliable Acorn Instagram. I've seen bupkis from it. Now, how much time do I put in Instagram? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting what I'm paying for there. But I've seen like Rolling Stone or Wired say, follow link in bio to read the article. So they're pushing people to specific content from posts, but they have to still go to the main page and then click off that and I frankly find it really hard because I'll click on it and I'll end up in stories somehow. And that's where I don't want to get.
Sorry, guys, I got to hop off, but I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Take care. Have a Thanksgiving.
You too.
But, I think Instagram is trying to keep people on the platform.
Yeah. I know that, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. As far as when you're putting link in bio and then they have a hard time getting to it. Yeah.
Well, Pinterest is one of those that I often forget how powerful it can be. It not only do Pinterest posts show up in search results, but people use Pinterest as a search engine. And like I feel I'm very surprised at the kind of industries that do well in Pinterest. And that's kind of one of those places that I think I always forget because I'm not the demographic for Pinterest, so I don't often think of it.
I don't use Pinterest as much. And I'll tell you the reason I don't use it is it never kind of with me kind of clicked and caught on, but also I have a hard time. You said like when you went to click the link in the bio on Instagram, you'd get stories and something. Well, when I'm in Pinterest and I see an image and I want to read the article, I have the hardest time finding the link. It irritates me so bad.
Yeah.
And I know that's just me. It's operator error.
Well,
So if you're having trouble finding a link, the person didn't do their Pinterest
Okay.
post correctly, because you should be able to click on that picture and read the information and the link be right there.
Okay.
If you can't find a link, they may not have put one in. They may have forgotten. And that again is user error.
right.
Yeah.
But link in bio, and people use services like Linktree and iLink Pro, and there's software that I like, Tailwind, which was actually created for Pinterest.
Yeah.
But they have picked up for Instagram as well.
Nice.
They developed their own thing similar to Linktree, but what it does when you click on the link in the bio, there is an image for that article, and people can click on that and it takes them to that article. So everything you put on Instagram and put the link in there, they've created a thumbnail
For the picture?
just like what yes, and it links to the article. So Tailwind is great for that.
Wow. Yeah.
But Tailwind made its rep.
Stone doing. Yeah.
Tailwind made its rep on Pinterest. That's like every big blogger out there uses Tailwind. They just make it so easy. They make it easy for Instagram as well. The only thing that they do, because with their Instagram, they have that, Linktree their own Linktree. The only thing is that to post stories, you have to use their mobile app,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, Trisha, I had told David a while back that you can now post to Instagram directly from Facebook
Mm-hmm.
in the Creator Studio.
Mm-hmm.
But they've also launched the Business Suite, which allows you to manage Facebook and Instagram. I don't like that one as much as I like the Creator Studio.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything with your stories. And Facebook has recently changed it so your story on Facebook cannot be a video. You used to be able to post video
Yeah.
there. Now it's only still images or text.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know that Tailwind did that embedded into the image. That's very interesting. I'll have to check that out. One thing I think, my primary thing that I don't like about Linktree is that you're sending people to a space that you don't own. So I prefer for a business to create a page on their site and maybe have it their domain / Instagram and just set the page up just like you would set it up on Linktree to get that SEO juice, to get them on your page. I like that idea better.
That's a great idea. I don't think the link from Instagram passes SEO juice.
Yeah, but you still
it's a great
get
idea.
the
That way you
traffic
can
there.
control it.
Yeah, that's yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's SEO juice, but you'll get the traffic and people looking at it and everything. So and then just keeping them on, getting them to your site instead of someone else's.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Trisha, I love that idea.
Yes, that's when people kept saying Linktree. I'm like, I mean, I like the concept of having everything there. I just don't like giving that. And then in the link, it has Linktree. Like, you need your domain there. So your domain, and I think I set something up, like my domain / IG for Instagram. And that's what I would put in there. And I can't remember, I did that for something and then I didn't follow up because something else came up and I didn't.
Well, you could simply, if you wanted to make it simple, you could just link straight to your main blog page. And if you're using the same featured image and Instagram is using in your blog, they would instantly be able to see, oh, that's the post I want, because they're looking at your blog page.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the only thing about that is when you recycle your material. So, Trisha, oh boy, somebody's web designer's not going to like me. Because, this person actually, it will work because they're just a very few links. David, I'm actually thinking about Aisha right here.
Right.
Instead of using Linktree, have a domain like what Trisha was saying on her website, and those links that we would have put in Linktree, just list them there. It's driving people from Instagram to her web page.
That's somebody else.
And then very simply, there's this, and this that we're telling you about, and here's how you can get that information. Because I try to make things as simple as possible.
Yeah.
It's like when I do a post on social media, if I am linking to a blog post, if I'm posting about a blog post, I'm going to link directly to that post. I'm not going to take you to the main blog page and then make you find the post, because it might be that top one, but it might have been something that was posted 6 months ago that's on page 3, so I link directly there. I found that if you take people exactly where you want them, that typically gets better results than if you take them here and then they got to go over here. But in this case with Instagram, since you can't really, change that link for everything, because if, I like that. one page with those 4 or 5 things that you're linking people to, you know, whether it's your store or contact form or whatever. And she's fighting with a box, y'all.
Oh,
She
okay.
is
Not
behind
you.
me fighting with a box. The box was not going where she intended it.
Oh,
So,
I love this
but
idea. This is a great
Trisha,
idea.
that is beautiful.
Yeah, I came up with it a
Because-
while ago. And
Yeah.
I haven't really talked about it because I think I had done something for myself, and I don't even know what I have on mine anymore, because I think because right now I'm gonna, at some point, I keep talking about, you know, I rebranded this year. I haven't done my new website, and that I need to do. So like I send out weekly emails. So a lot of time when I do social media posts, they're kind of linking to my current email, which isn't ideal, but I haven't gotten my site up. So so that's going to be on my list to put on the site
Great.
for Instagram. For
Love
sure.
it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And then, you know, the tailwind thing,
Mhm.
that it's like $15 a month for their service for Pinterest, and it's $15 a month for their Instagram, if you do it monthly. To me, that $30 would be well worth it with them. You know, oh, and David, I tried, remember I told you about Meet Edgar?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I tried them out for a week. It's just, I like it, but there are components that they're missing. So Trisha, I use Smarter Q.
What is that?
Smarter Q.
Okay.
And the thing that I like about them is that I can put in a post and say I want it to repost 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to post and it's going to take it to the end of that particular queue.
Yeah.
Or I can schedule it so it only, you know, it posts today and then it goes to draft. Or there's a lot of control that I have in there.
That sounds similar to what I use. I'm using Social Bee, and there are features like that in there as well. Yeah, both of those features, which I really like, that because that's how I have mine just set up, you know, kind of going, just cycling through. And then there also is a thing where it's like you expire after like 4 times or expire on a specific date. So if you've got like the holidays you're posting about, you can say, okay, don't post any more of these after December 25th.
I like that.
So yeah, I like, but it sounds like Social Bee is very similar to Smarter Q.
So and there were just little control things about Meet Edgar that I just didn't like, and it seemed, I don't know, and what I would have loaded in Smarter Q, and it would last me 2 or 3 weeks. It seemed like in Edgar, I blew through it in like 3 days, and I'm not sure it was probably user error.
Yeah.
And the fact that I wasn't really familiar with it. But anyway, I ended up sticking with the one that I know the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get a great value from it. But what I've started doing, because Instagram was the first thing I took off of Smarter Q, because it annoyed me to have to use a mobile app to post.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like that at all. Oof.
Well, I got to get rolling.
Okay. Yeah.
But thank you all for
Yes.
this great conversation. I've taken a ton of notes. These are really
Yeah.
helpful.
Good.
Nice to talk to you again, Anita.
Nice meeting you.
It's good. Nice meeting you, David. It's good to be here, and I will see you after Thanksgiving.
All right.
Yes.
Have a Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.
See you later.